let's be real, everybody. The NFL is not as exciting of a place as they would have you believe in all of their off-season hype and all this stuff. This is where the meat of it starts. And even the name that I'm going to mention first is probably not going to be available. Sam Darnold I have first because Sam Darnold's deal is effectively like a 1-year, $37 million contract with sort of some pay-as-you-go options after that. I think he's going to break out in that Clint Kubiak offense. Everyone that I've talked to there, and again, this is a hallmark of the season, but everyone who I've talked to there loves Darnold. There's people saying, well, look what he did in that Vikings offense, which was tailor-made for him, but also watch what he will do with a running game for the first time in his life.
Yeah.
And this is the first time in his life he is going to have a running game, and I think could be equally as beneficial. So I have Sam Darnold there just because there's that 1-year option on his contract, and he may end up building himself into kind of the sidekick Kirk Cousins. And then you have Matt Stafford, who, again, I mean, we could end up going through the same thing that we did with him this summer, where, okay, 37, posts another decent year, gets the Rams into the playoffs, plays well down the stretch, and then can't decide if he wants to retire or not. Sean McVay looks around. There's nobody else to replace him. I know for a fact he does not want a rookie quarterback. And so, okay, it's this convenience of comfortability scenario where they all get back together. After that, we start to kind of wade into the pool where it's Aaron Rodgers, if maybe he doesn't want to retire and maybe there's an opening with a really good coach somewhere. We have Daniel Jones, Derek Carr if he wants to come out of retirement, Kirk Cousins now at the Falcons if they're comfortable with Michael Penix at that point, Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and Jimmy Garoppolo. Dear God. But that's, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is kind of going to be it for people next year, right?
Yeah, I mean, we talked through like the other potential options, and only two of them even sound remotely realistically possible. It is going to be sort of like an old guard who wants to keep playing type of player. Like, do you want to take a chance on one of those guys? I think the Rams and Stafford are super interesting as a potential landing spot. I think Stafford is interesting. But the big conundrum that I wrestle with, Connor, is that the better any of these guys you're talking about play this year, the more likely their current team is to want to keep them.
Yep.
The worse they play, the less likely, obviously, but then the less demand there will be and the less value they can get out of them. So it's such a balancing act, like for these guys to actually become available and be desired. They have to like strike the right balance, and there has to be the right amount of just bad play or bad performance around them, just bad circumstance that other teams can convince themselves that they can, I guess, rescue or save that player or reclaim some former glory for some of these guys we're talking about. I don't know. I think, yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think Daniel Jones is the guy that's going to be like, Daniel Jones has the best chance to play himself into the in-demand quarterback next year because he's surrounded by weapons in Indianapolis. He's got a good offensive coaching staff, I think, and Shane Steichen heading things up there. Like, he could be a disaster, and we've seen Daniel Jones melt down into a disaster, but if he plays really well, he could either become in demand for Indianapolis, who says, we all saved our jobs, we made the right choice, we started the right guy, and we all get to coach another season here, or he could be like that guy that your team, you as a fan, you don't want your team to go sign him, but they're hell-bent on doing it because they need an answer.
Right. I have Shane Steichen as so I didn't have the Colts making the playoffs in my projections, but I kind of, what do you call it, Justin, in the gambling world when you make another bet to make sure that you don't lose a lot? Is it hedging?
Yes.
I hedged by putting down Shane Steichen as coach of the year, because if he makes the playoffs with Daniel Jones as his quarterback, he's winning coach of the year. I would imagine that would surprise me if he did not. So I agree with you there. Like, I think it's not going to be quite a Darnold story because you don't have Justin Jefferson, you don't have Kevin O'Connell, you don't have whatever it was that was special about that. And there was kind of a soft underbelly of the NFC North schedule last year too that I don't think gets talked about enough. This is a different situation, but I do think you could kind of be that, whatever it is, B-level ride in the sidecar Sam Darnold kind of guy, right? And
Yeah.
or if you want to put it a different way, you could be the whatever the understudy of Kirk Cousins, where you just so happen to keep coming up on the market at the absolute perfect time and getting these extensions that your fan base is like, why?
Well, yeah, and that's part of this conversation is that the options don't look that enticing. I mean,
That's
you're
why we
talking
lay it
about
out like this. Yeah.
you're talking about veteran, like extreme, like end of their career veterans or guys who have flat out failed. So, yeah, I think Daniel Jones he could position himself to make another big round of money, and then a team regrets 1 or 2 years into the deal.
That's amazing. I still think, and I'm probably in the minority here, but I think it sucks that Kirk Cousins isn't playing this year. Probably won't play, and is sort of serving as a domestique to Michael Penix and trying to get him off the ground. I still think he's really good. I think he was hurt last year, and I think that the offensive staff there just wasn't going to cater their offense to a guy who wasn't going to be able to hand the ball off the way that they wanted to. And they weren't going to run a bunch of backfield motion just to make him a little bit more comfortable. I get it, but I think he jumps into the conversation next year. I think a lot of those people don't realize Shanahan guys love him. I bet. And this is what my old boss, Peter King, used to say. If you would have injected Mike McDaniel with sodium pentothal, which I think is truth serum, I hope it is, and he wasn't talking about just like drugging someone. But if you were to inject Mike McDaniel with sodium pentothal and say, who would you rather start week 1? Kirk Cousins, a 37-year-old Kirk Cousins, or Tua? I think Mike McDaniel might take Kirk Cousins, possibly. That's just, I don't know, but Shanahan guys,
he's the guy that's defended Tua more than anyone. But
you have
that's
to
also
as a head coach.
It's also part of the job, is to go exclaim public confidence in your quarterback, no doubt.
Like Shane Steichen had to say yesterday that this was the decision I'm making for the entirety of the season. And we all know that Anthony Richardson is going to be playing in October. We all know
the Colts should trade for Kirk Cousins today. The Colts should go. They should say, you know what? We had a QB competition with 2 guys that can't hack it, and we're going to, like, what do Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard care about next year's draft picks? They're not going to be around to make those picks unless they make a move like going to get Kirk Cousins. That's a hot take, but that's where I come down on it.
Perfect time to do it too. Like, this is not going to come off the right way, but you're kind of undergoing a change in ownership, and people are kind of in and out of the office right now, and you can just put it on the desk and be like, by the way, while you guys were out, I traded a 3rd round pick for Kirk Cousins. We also owe him about $40 million. So just, I'll make it work on my end if you guys can make it work on your end. Sorry about that.